Hello everyone, I'm Dominic Byrne and I have a story I'd like to share with you. The day after Melbourne Cup 2 years ago, I took a spill on my bike and landed at the bottom of a 7-metre cliff in a creek bed that was full of old tractor tyres, cement blocks and cut down trees. I know, right? I broke 14 bones, punctured my lung and lost 2 days of memory. Now I don't expect any sympathy for my accident, as my risky recreational activities are my choice and the consequences, well, they rest with me, including my mohawks. But this was just the start of some challenging times. Immobile and house confined, I was a complete joy to live with, said no one. Work suffered a little and my wonderful wife Lou carried us through it. About 8 months later, in June 2017, I was almost at full recovery and back in full swing, making up for lost time. Then Lou was diagnosed with cancer. She stopped work to focus on her health and I did the bare essentials in our business so I could support her and the kids at close to full-time capacity. Survival rates for breast cancer are very high these days, so culling my work hours would be a temporary commitment. Family and health always come first, and I would make up the time and the money when she's in remission in less than a year's time. What's a little debt when there is plenty of work out there? Lou never went into remission. Her cancer progressed under treatment, and while after surgery she technically had no evidence of disease, the metastasis was already on the charge and she would be diagnosed with advanced secondary cancer in her liver and bones while still undergoing phase 1 treatment for the primary disease. Louise went from stage 2A to stage 4 in less than a year and was given the label terminal. So from June 2007 until today, Lou has had 4 months of brutal neoadjuvant intravenous chemotherapy, a mastectomy, 9 lymph nodes removed, 24 rounds of radiotherapy, 6 rounds of oral chemo, more radiotherapy, 6 weeks of an immunotherapy mixed with a PARP inhibitor that knocked her for 6, and then back to barbaric systemic chemotherapy, which put her back in hospital, followed by transarterial chemomobilisation of the liver and ongoing daily infusions and other special treatments here in Germany. Oh, and you better throw in thoracentesis, which is a hollow needle and tube pushed into the thorax to remove fluid. I want to highlight some of the things that my wife has been plagued with on this arduous journey. Numerous scans, endless needles, weekly blood samples, debilitating fatigue, hair loss, enhanced bruising and bleeding, infections, anemia, high fevers and low blood counts, very low blood counts, non-stop nausea and vomiting, complete loss of appetite, no taste or horrible lasting tastes, if not constipation then diarrhoea, tongue and throat swelling and massive ulcers, making it impossible to swallow solids, a mouth constantly drier than the Sahara, nerve and muscle problems, numbness to where her hands and feet go completely dead, tingling sensations and sharp pulsing pains, skin and nail issues, and at times her whole hands and feet cracking to the point of not being able to walk or carry objects. Weight fluctuations, chemo brain, which to me is like Alzheimer's, being forced through menopause early, along with the hot flushes and drastic mood changes that go with it, waves and waves of severe anxiety, depression and the constant fear of death. All her veins packed it in, so a permanent port was embedded in her chest. She's had numerous blood and platelet transfusions. She's had multiple trips to the hospital, many in an ambulance. Drugs for drugs for drugs, all with their own fucked up side effects. A ridiculous level of fatigue and utter exhaustion. And worst of all, the pain, lots of pain. Pain that started with bone metastasis and has never stopped. Something is always hurting. Pain that often brings her to tears. Her liver has been incredibly swollen and inflamed, and her tumours have been growing to sizes that hurt. With the emotional turmoil on top of this, you have a pretty tough life to contend with when all you want to do is be a mum. What makes it so challenging for Lou is that she's had her biggest cancer regressions while going through treatment. Her cancer has slowed during the breaks in treatment cycles and sped up under guided treatment protocols. This horrible situation makes decisions extremely hard and has you question some of the torturous treatments endured. On the 22nd of October, we decided to do a fundraiser. Now, a few weeks before Christmas is not the ideal time to try and raise money and host an event, but things were getting bad quickly. Lou hasn't responded to any treatment and we're out of options at home. The odds are still unfavourably stacked against us, but we needed to go somewhere where there are options. For peace of mind, we need to turn over all stones, even if some of those stones are far from home and expensive. We're averaging a spend of €12,400 per week, around 19,300 Australian dollars. That's for treatment alone. To live here as a family, with Lou getting treated daily, if we're here until mid-January or 8 weeks, we'll spend in excess of €120,000. That will exceed 180,000 AUD. All this alongside relocation costs and a solid mortgage, it's a bit to carry on one's shoulders. Life can be tough and unpredictable, and we're certainly deep in that territory, but we're fighting it all the way. So to all of you here this evening, you being here tonight and taking part of this event gives Lou the ability to live with the disease and eventually beat it. We love you for this and will be forever grateful. Thank you.